This is Valley View News.
The people, united, will never be defeated.
Demonstrators marched in downtown Los Angeles in support of slain teenager Trayvon Martin. Cal State Northridge has a new university president. An Easter party for kids in Thousand Oaks kicked off the holiday weekend.
Welcome to Valley View News. I'm Liberty Zabala.
And I'm Diana Scalona.
After a 6-month-long search, California State University Northridge has a new university president, Diane F. Harrison. CSUN had a reception in her honor. Valley View News' Michael Mayer was there.
CSUN student and faculty members gathered at the Valley Performing Arts Center to welcome new president, Diane Harrison. Harrison will take over for Jolene Kester, the CSUN president, for the last 11 years. She spoke to those in attendance about her plans.
I intend to engage in necessary external relations with alumni, local communities, K-12 partners, elected officials, friends, and supporters. That will take lots and lots of time, and it's very, very important.
Faculty waited in long lines to be among the first to meet the new CSUN president. This was the first time Harrison was able to meet members of the CSUN community.
This is so much more real for me because I actually get to talk to people and associate names and faces and get interactions and suggestions.
Diane Harrison brings more than 30 years of experience to Cal State Northridge. Many CSUN faculty members are excited about what she can add to this campus.
She's going to bring a positive attitude to any of the obstacles that she faces here.
I hope that she brings that kind of home feel to it, but then also help us to broaden our borders. So I'm looking forward to it.
Some hope she will expand on one of CSUN's good qualities.
At CSUN, immediately you know the president, provost, other administrators a lot better than I have anywhere else, so yeah.
Harrison says she is excited to be a Matador. She will officially assume her new role on June 11th. In Northridge, Michael Mayer, Valley View News.
CSUN students react to the new president.
One of the most important things is that our parking situation, which is completely out of control. The school sells more parking passes than it could actually you provide for the students. So that's one of the things she could actually improve. On top of that, our tuition it's extremely high.
She should work more closely with the students, to kind of form, I guess, a coalition of student staff and the people who are allocating the money.
I would like if there were more activities so that people could meet new people. It's kind of hard to meet people if you don't live in a dorm.
Because we're paying so much for tuition, we should have a say in it. It helps us, and it's directly relating to us. And we're it's like buying somebody to work for you. That's what it is. We're paying for our education. We should have somebody that's representing us in a good way.
Students don't play a role in the election. No leader or president could actually make choices that are beneficial to us.
We want someone to fight for us. We want someone to represent us, because that's her job.
NBC News has fired a producer for editing a recording of George Zimmerman's call to the police the night he shot Trayvon Martin. The tape was edited in a way that made it appear that Zimmerman brought up the issue of race. In fact, a 911 dispatcher asked Zimmerman to describe Martin's race. Zimmerman responded that he looks black. The misleading audio had Zimmerman telling the dispatcher, "This guy looks like he's up to no good. He looks black." The fired producer says the audio had to be cut down to meet a time requirement. The president of the network news division says it was a mistake to air the edited audio and not a deliberate act to misrepresent the phone call. Zimmerman says he shot 17-year-old Martin in self-defense. Critics say he used racial profiling in his decision to shoot the unarmed teenager.
Reporter Cassandra Gaskin covered one of the protests in Southern California.
I went to downtown Los Angeles to cover a rally in support for Trayvon Martin. Controversy over the case continues to grow, with protesters at this event walking what they call the Million Hoodie March.
People united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated.
Those are the sounds of protesters rallying together in the support of 17-year-old Trayvon Martin. Organizers and speakers led the crowd in Pershing Square with chants, hoping for extra support in the countrywide Million Hoodie March. The unarmed 17-year-old was fatally shot by Neighborhood Watch volunteer 28-year-old George Zimmerman over a month ago. Zimmerman has said he was attacked by Martin and had shot the teen in self-defense. Protesters want justice for Trayvon, with some believing this case has to do with racial profiling. Los Angeles Police Commander Andrew Smith says that LA sheriffs are hoping for a safe and nonviolent protest.
We're always hopeful, and so far it started out real well. They began with a prayer. Seems like a real peaceful crowd. I know many of the people that are up here, and we've worked with them many times in the past, so we're here to help facilitate their First Amendment rights.
Pershing Square is now empty, but this is where over 1,000 protesters came in March and supported Trayvon Martin for the Million Hoodie March. The marchers made their way to City Hall in a large sea of people through downtown LA. Many folks came with hoods on, which is what Trayvon was wearing when he was shot. Organizer Orlando Pardo shares how he got the word out about the march.
We basically just contacted a lot of our allied organizations. A lot of them immediately endorsed this event. We spread the word by going on the trains and the metro stations and the schools, passed out flyers about the event, so word got out on the street.
The turnout was bigger than organizers expected. Many people carried signs saying "Fight for justice for Trayvon" or "Jail for Zimmerman." Peaceful protests like this one continue to take place throughout the country. Police have not charged Zimmerman, and an investigation is still underway. The decision to press charges against Zimmerman is now in the hands of Special Prosecutor Angela Corey, who says she will not bring the case before a grand jury. Under Florida law, only first-degree murder cases must be presented before a grand jury.
Presidential candidate Mitt Romney has addressed the National Rifle Association's annual meeting. He said he believes the U.S. has all the gun laws it needs. The speech comes at a crucial time for Romney, who is working to appeal to the conservatives. Romney says he owns guns himself, but he has given inconsistent descriptions about his own hunting. Presidential candidates Rick Santorum and Newt Gingrich also attended the meeting.
Brazil's president visited the White House and President Barack Obama to discuss the economy, trade, and more. This is the first visit for Dilma Rousseff as the Brazilian president. The two countries discussed measures to boost economic growth, trade, and new military aircraft for Brazil. Both Obama and Rousseff will be attending the Summit of the Americas in Cartagena, Colombia.
North Korea is planning a new nuclear test in the same place where it previously tested atomic blasts. Two previous tests were conducted in 2006 and 2009. North Korea later disclosed a previously unknown uranium enrichment program that provided a second path to a bomb. The North Korean government says the operation is for peaceful purposes. The reports of a nuclear test come as North Korea apparently plans to also test a rocket.
The American Psychiatric Association says 1 man to every 4 women suffers from anorexia. Valley View reporter Devin Knight talked to a CSUN student who says he struggled with the disease.
Freddie Tlatenchi not only admitted he was battling anorexia, but also published his experience with the disease. His story was run in the Daily Sundial during the Eating Disorder Awareness Week at California State University, Northridge.
It took a while to get for the eating disorder to get a hold of me, but I remember that specific moment where it's like I knew things just went downhill.
Tlatenchi, like many anorexics, was an overweight child and experienced more acceptance from his peers as he dropped the pounds.
I guess in my own way I thought if I keep losing weight, I'll be more, accepted.
His weight loss began one summer when he dropped 20 pounds after becoming ill. He weighed around 160 pounds before becoming sick, but ultimately dropped down to 115 pounds at his lowest point. He still saw fat when he looked in the mirror.
Even at my lowest, I remember just feeling fat, feeling completely inadequate. It's a loss of hate. You see fat where there really isn't any, and that's what I saw.
He would experience moments of clarity, which would allow him to see what he truly looked like.
For those moments, I actually achieved my goal of being thin. I felt relieved that, it's over.
Tlatenchi reached his turning point after experiencing growing guilt for his behavior.
A lot of guilt for making my family go through, seeing me basically doing myself to a stick.
He began his therapy while attending Pierce College and has since become the only male member of the Joint Advocates on Disordered Eating here at CSUN after transferring.
If you or someone you know suffers from anorexia, know that you are not alone, and also know that you are urged to seek help before the disease worsens. I'm Devin Knight, reporting from Northridge for Valley View News.
A mother's weight and diabetic condition may increase the risk of causing a disorder in her unborn child. The study conducted by the journal Pediatrics found that mothers-to-be who were obese were 67% more likely to have a child with autism. It also found that it can double her child's risk of having another developmental disorder.
Lamar Odom is no longer playing with the Dallas Mavericks, and a popular actress makes fun of herself on Saturday Night Live.
Okay, everyone, we have a lot to cover this morning. Tim should be here any second with the latest budget numbers to take us through the initial schedule for production and...
Ow. This is one way to avoid getting the H1N1 flu virus.
Oh, whoopsie daisy. All right, good morning. Let's get this meeting started.
For some better ways, visit flu.gov.
Anyone have a tissue?
Packers. Viking. Packers. Viking. Viking.
Red state. Blue state. Vegan.
Carnivore.
We come from different places.
Uptown.
Downtown.
Optimist.
We come to different conclusions.
Half empty.
Half full.
But when we live united, we create real, lasting change in the building blocks of life. The education, income, and health of our communities, our families,
united.
Even the person next to us.
Live united.
Real change won't happen without you. So give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Sign up at liveunited.org.
And here's Tani Ann de la Pena with a scoop on entertainment.
Jury selection has begun for the trial of the man accused of murdering 3 of Jennifer Hudson's family members. William Balfour is accused of killing the star's mother, brother, and nephew at their family home in October 2008. The judge is expected to choose 12 jurors and 6 alternates within the next few days. If convicted, Balfour faces a maximum life sentence. The trial is set to begin in Chicago on April 23rd. One of the men who helped make 60 Minutes the most distinctive news show on television has died. Veteran correspondent Mike Wallace was 93 years old. Wallace was famous for his hard-hitting interviews. Armed with thorough research and a cocked eyebrow, Wallace interrogated some of the biggest names in world politics. In 2008, Wallace was slowed by a bypass surgery and retired from public life. He is survived by his wife, son, stepdaughters, and stepsons. Modern Family star Sofia Vergara's heavy accent and notable curves highlighted her hosting gig on Saturday Night Live. The actress made fun of herself during her opening monologue, saying her accent could make anything sound sexy. She played the roles of Fran Drescher in a skit from Bean Kirky with Zooey Deschanel, and also did a parody from The Hunger Games. Musical guest and popular teen band One Direction appeared in a skit called The Manuel Ortiz Show, dancing in a line as Vergara's sons. The Hunger Games is still leading the box office, making more than $33.5 million. The film stars Jennifer Lawrence as a teenager in a television fight to the death. The film topped each Twilight movie and all but the first and last Harry Potter films. It also raised its international total to more than $150 million. The Hunger Games out-earned American Reunion and Titanic 3D. Family members of those who died on the Titanic 100 years ago set sail from England to New York aboard the Titanic Memorial Cruise. The 12-night cruise will retrace the ship's voyage, including the spot where the Titanic hit an iceberg and sank. Organizers say they are trying to recreate the Titanic experience with food and music from that era. Superstar artist Beyoncé has let fans into her usually very private life with the opening of her Tumblr blog. The blog shares personal photos of her family, her travels, and her love. She opened the blog on her 4th wedding anniversary to her rapper husband, Jay-Z. One video of Beyoncé was filmed under a tree. It hints at the origin of their 3-month-old baby's name, Blue Ivy. Now Michael Mayer joins us in the studio with a fantastic finish in the NBA and surprising winner at golf's biggest tournament.
Thank you, Tawny. A lefty won the 76 Masters Championship, and it wasn't Phil Mickelson. Bubba Watson won the Masters Tournament at Augusta National Golf Course. The 33-year-old shot a 4 under 68 in the final round to force a playoff against South African Louis Oosthuizen. On the second playoff hole, Watson was able to hit a fantastic shot out of the woods and onto the green. He went on to two-putt his way to his first green jacket. Watson was one of the more unlikely major champions because he never had a formal golf lesson. Former Lakers star Lamar Odom has agreed to part ways with the Dallas Mavericks. This means Odom will be inactive for the remainder of the season. The 32-year-old was traded by the Lakers to Dallas after he was unhappy with the team for trying to trade him for Chris Paul. Odom will be ineligible to play in the postseason because he was not waived by the March 23rd deadline. The Bulls and Knicks met in an Eastern Conference matchup at Madison Square Garden. Let's go to the highlights. This game marked the return of last year's MVP Derrick Rose. Mid-fourth quarter, Rose hits a three and is fouled. The Bulls go up by 9. Now to the final seconds of regulation, and with the Knicks trailing, Carmelo Anthony pulls up and hits for 3 to send the game into overtime. Now to the extra session, and the Bulls leading. Rose drives to the basket and hits this tough layup to put the Bulls up by 4. Rose finished the game with 29 points, but the Bulls cannot ice the game late, and Anthony makes him pay for it, hitting this unbelievable 3 over the Bulls' Luol Deng to give the Knicks the lead for good. The Knicks would go on to win 100-99. Anthony finished the game with 43 points, his highest total since his return in February. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell upheld the suspensions issued in the Saints bounty case. Head coach Sean Payton will begin serving his 1-year suspension on April 16th, and the team will have to find an interim coach. Payton, along with assistant coach Joe Vitt and general manager Mickey Loomis, were trying to get their suspensions reduced. Former defensive coordinator Greg Williams was suspended indefinitely and elected not to appeal. Northridge now has a new spot for sports fans. Valley View's Marco Morfino has more on the story.
A new bar and grill has opened up right down the street from Cal State Northridge and has become a hotspot for locals. Dublin's is an Irish pub that provides a variety of activities for its patrons to participate in. People can challenge each other in games such as air hockey, foosball, and darts. There are even beer pong tables located in the pub that bring a college environment for its guests.
And the really fun part is that on Tuesdays they have beer pong tournaments, so it always brings like a big crowd, and it's just like a fun environment with like a lot of young people.
The friendly service keeps customers coming back.
Just the atmosphere, great crowd. I'm currently a CSUN student, definitely you have a lot of CSUN students that come here after classes, just come here to unwind. Great drinks, great people.
The establishment takes pride in its employees and customer service. The bar is a great place for sports fans to grab a drink and watch the games.
There's good prices on drinks, and there's always sports on. There's plenty of TVs and everything.
Dublin's encourages dancing as live bands and DJs are spinning late at night. Dublin's closes at 2 a.m., and that is the time when customers and their designated drivers will go home safely. Reporting in Northridge, Marco Morfino, Valley View News.
And that's all for sports. Back to you, Diane.
When we come back, families in Thousand Oaks celebrate Easter and an animal rights group fights fast food.
I really didn't want to tell anybody, and I didn't.
Hiding sadness makes you more and more sad.
If you're strong enough to just open your mouth, that's all it takes.
The healing is in me and can also be extended to others.
Giving voice to what you're feeling is part of the healing.
Cook foods to the right temperature using a food thermometer. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
Turning a 20-foot wall into a canvas takes vision. So will getting into college. I've got what it takes. So do you.
A 10-year-old Colombian girl has become the youngest mother ever. She gave birth to a healthy baby girl. She had her 5-pound daughter by cesarean section. The average age a girl in the country starts puberty is about 12 and a half. The mother is a member of the Wayuu people, an indigenous tribe in northern Colombia that lives by its own traditional customs and laws.
Dozens of activists have gathered outside a McDonald's in Echo Park to protest chickens being killed and served as food. The protesters dressed in chicken costumes and claim the food chain maims and boils birds alive. McDonald's issued a statement saying it works to promote continuous improvement in animal care.
5 people in southern China are accused of talking a teenage boy into donating one of his kidneys so the people could make money selling it. Officials say the boy used his share of the money to buy an iPhone and an iPad. The men made a $35,000 deal with a surgeon to perform the kidney operation. The boy was given $3,500.
A teen driver struck a Northern California family riding bicycles on the sidewalk, killing a man and one of his daughters. Witnesses said the teen drove his Cadillac Escalade erratically before he crashed into a car changing lanes in front of him. Police arrested the driver on suspicion of vehicular manslaughter. There is no evidence that alcohol was involved, but officers found the boy's cell phone in the vehicle.
Police are asking for the public's help finding the person responsible for killing a man in Echo Park. Residents reported hearing gunshots at about 1:40 p.m. near Kensington Road and Echo Park Terrace. 21-year-old Etisel Cardenas was found in his car with gunshot wounds. Police rushed Cardenas to a nearby hospital where he died. Anyone with information is urged to call the LAPD Rampart Division.
The first family invited more than 35,000 people to the South Lawn of the White House for the annual Easter egg roll. Activities at the White House included hunting and roasting Easter eggs across the South Lawn and a visit with the Easter Bunny. This year's theme is Let's Go, Let's Play, Let's Move, and is part of First Lady Michelle Obama's initiative for a healthy, active lifestyle. In its 134th year, the White House Easter egg roll is the longest-standing presidential tradition.
Another Easter tradition gave kids in Thousand Oaks a chance to bring out their creative side while spending an afternoon in the sun. Reporter Sarah Flanagan attended the event and has more on the story.
The kids were ecstatic and energetic to hunt for Easter eggs around the Jan's Marketplace Shopping Center. I went to the Easter Extravaganza and talked to kids and their parents about the fun-filled event.
The annual Easter Extravaganza brought out more than 800 adults and children to celebrate the holiday at the Jan's Marketplace in Thousand Oaks. The event featured activities like face painting, a petting zoo, arts and crafts, and even a chance to meet the Easter Bunny himself. Many of the little ones were bundles of energy and couldn't help but talk about why they were so excited to be there.
We like to hunt eggs. We like to play games.
The Easter egg hunt traveled around the entire shopping center, giving kids a chance to walk store to store, picking up Easter eggs along the way. The extravaganza also allowed for the kids' competitive side to come out with hula hoop competitions and relay races. Lissa says she's been working at the Easter Extravaganza with her business partner for years and has seen many of the kids since the time they were little.
We're watching the kids grow up, so that's kind of cool. We're seeing them at 3 and now they're 11.
The extravaganza not only gives a chance for the kids to run around, but it also allows family to spend some quality time together. Heather Romano brought her son and daughter for the first time and talks about what she hopes her kids take away from the event.
Just family time, just good memories. You know, they're going to remember when they're older that we spent our Saturday here as opposed to doing laundry.
Many of the other families seem to enjoy spending time together. And coming to the extravaganza is something the Hayes family says they've made into a yearly family event.
We come here a lot of times.
Really? We've been coming here since Turner was probably almost 2. So we've been coming for about 5 years now. Tradition. It could be crazy, but it's a lot of fun.
The Jan's Marketplace is the home to several fun events, including the Kids Fun Zone on the last Saturday of every month. Now back to you in the studio.
Graffiti artist called Can't Be Stopped makes artwork along alleyways in Melrose. Elisa Rosenthal reports on a controversial form of art.
Tags, throw-ups, masterpieces. These are all terms used in the world of graffiti.
I started catching tags in '85.
Can't Be Stopped, also known as CBS, is the name of a long-standing crew of graffiti artists whose work can be seen in the alleyways off Melrose Avenue. Joey McGray started tagging over 25 years ago. He's one of the crew's original members. McGray describes his art as not just a rush, but an alternative way that he and his crew members can communicate.
It's like a drug. It's like mad adrenaline. You get away with it. It's also because of, you know, it's when you see it up again, your tag, it's like it just makes you happy. Then it's just like a whole communication between taggers.
Over time, many store owners along Melrose Avenue formed a great admiration for the crew and allowed them to create a large masterpiece in alleyways from Fairfax all the way to Highland Avenue.
A lot of the work we do is, you know, it beautifies like neighborhoods, and it's very colorful, and you know, we've become very successful at doing it.
Apart from his art, McGray opened up Lunch Money, his own shop on Melrose supporting local artists and designers. His store carries everything from jewelry, artwork, and original apparel.
Local artists, designers, people that, you know, that I've met along the way of my career.
CBS has gained over 50 members over the years, and McGray remains proud of his neighborhood.
This is our neighborhood. You know, it's a big CBS. You know, people come worldwide to see the CBS crew.
On Melrose Avenue, I'm Elisa Rosenthal for Valley View News.
Gas prices are continuing to rise, and Americans are feeling the pain. However, our $4 per gallon average gas price is relatively cheap compared to Europe, Japan, and Australia. New technologies such as hydraulic fracturing have made it possible to extract petroleum and natural gas from rock, creating an energy boom. Some experts say the U.S. could be self-sufficient in energy by 2020. Factors include driving less, driving high-efficiency cars, and using natural gas as a fuel source.
2 men suspected in the Tulsa, Oklahoma shooting have been held on a $9 million bond. Jake England and Alvin Watts were arrested in connection with a shooting spree that left 3 dead and 2 wounded. Both have been charged with 3 counts of murder and 2 counts of shooting with intent to kill. Tulsa police are investigating whether the shootings were racially motivated. All victims are African American.
Security officials in Lebanon say a Lebanese journalist has been killed by gunfire along the Lebanese-Syrian border. Ali Shaban worked as a cameraman for a TV station. Lebanese officials say the cameraman was shot as he was filming in the northern area on the Lebanese side of the border. Officials say Shaban was rushed to the hospital but died on the way.
Facebook will be buying photo-sharing application Instagram for $1 billion. 1 million people used Instagram by January 2011, and it grew by 15 million a year later. It first exclusively catered to iPhone users, but now has expanded to Androids. This brings Instagram to 30 million users. Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg says the site will contribute to the app's growth by strengthening its engineering and infrastructure.
Thank you for watching Valley View News. I'm Diana Scalona.
And I'm Liberty Zabala. Have a great night.